I have just been having an absolute blast with the creator competitions that are running alongside this year's Summer Fiesta event, and if you're wondering, yes, there will be a Flinter competition as well. I'll put the entire schedule on screen just so you can see it. It'll be August 14th, and I won't tell you what the competition is, but suffice it to say, there are pretty good rewards. Those beginner guides, the timing of those were no coincidence. I wanted to have those out before the competition runs, so if you're considering getting into the Hunter Classic, I would say now's the time with that competition being in just 2 weeks. However, the main draw to the Summer Fiesta in the Hunter Classic every year is the missions and the difficulty of completing them. So today, we're setting out with the easy missions. This year there are easy, medium, and hard, and we're going to try to knock out at least the easy Antler missions, and maybe along the way do some of the objectives for the other sets. Now, the main 4 objectives that we're working on today, the easy Antler missions, I'm going to go ahead and put on screen so you can see those. And like I said, maybe the other missions we can do a few objectives here and there as we work towards getting these done. You'll notice though there's a bit of emphasis placed on unscoped weapons and 100% harvest value, and I think to achieve things like that, one of the best options in the game is the 9.3x74R. If we look at the open sights here, a really nice rear sight. It doesn't cover too much of the animal, the front sight post is really clear. I think it's going to be nice for accurate shots without a scope, so that's going to be our weapon of choice, and we're starting here on Red Feather to do the Roosevelt elk mission. And of course, looking for a Roosevelt elk out here, we've actually got a black bear. I can't see it, I think it's just behind that tree, but I heard it first. Now, the black bear objective doesn't have any specific requirements other than to hit the heart, and black bear hitboxes are pretty odd, so this opportunity here, as it's walking right at us, may be as good a chance as we could get, other than the fact that it went to spook there, is going aggressive, which if it stands up... Did neither of those shots hit the heart? He died. That was the most bizarre, I can't believe he spooked at that range. But then obviously, we hit lungs. No, we did hit the heart. Does that count? It might count. I think it was single shot. That might have been a single shot through the heart, and of course it was our second one. What an odd encounter that was. At least we kind of know if we get an aggressive black bear and maybe take our time a little bit more, that heart shot's doable there. There is no world in which I would have predicted it would take an hour to find a bull elk, but here we are, and this particular objective requires a unscoped weapon, a very loud elk. We need to hit heart and or lungs. We don't actually need a heart shot, lungs will work, and most importantly, we can't hit any bones. That's going to be neck, shoulder blade, spine, anything like that. So setting this shot up could be a little bit challenging, and we're going to see here with him walking this way, and we can basically go back of the lungs when he's almost exactly broadside. So let's stand up, keep that well behind the shoulder blade, and hopefully at least well underneath the spine, and we'll see if that finally does the first objective. Double lung and liver should be fine. Hopefully that score is going to calculate. 35 score might be the smallest elk I've ever shot. I'm going to actually trophy shot that. That did do the objective, so that's good, but that little sticker there, off of his left, not even going to call it a main beam, I'm going to say left spike, knocked the score down. That's the lowest I've ever seen. He's such a giant. I don't even think we want our character in frame. Just going to get a nice photo of that. And like I said, it took an hour, go figure, when we need an objective to kill any bull elk that are just not around. But now we can finally move on to the next one. And already a much better sign here on White Rime Ridge. We need to kill a male stick deer at 100% harvest value once again with any unscoped weapon. And I think the 9.3 and those really easy to use open sights is going to be our best option. So we're going to go ahead and try to call that guy in. And probably anything broadside or frontal will be fine, but we'll make sure to get him good and close so we can line up the shot correctly. Now, we are absolutely not going to take this for granted. Want to make sure we get a good, clean shot, because we saw with the black bear off by just a tiny bit, and we end up not getting the objective done. So we do need an unscoped weapon again. Gonna go with the 9.3 here. I'd like him to stop, but if he ends up behind that rock, we kind of have a problem. But since he dropped in his tracks, we should be good. So the Summer Fiesta missions, on one hand, end up taking forever to do something simple on Red Feather Falls. Then here on White Rime, just a couple of minutes. But Hunter Harvest value on that, that's going to do that objective. So I think we're going to go to Loggers Point. We have a mule deer objective to do. And then we'll probably wrap up on Val de Bois, because I think the roe deer one could be tough. It also has the potential to not be that bad. I think I have a plan. Now, that was a little bit unexpected. We have a pretty solid mule deer buck there. And the mule deer objective is fairly straightforward, though it could cause a little problem because we need to get to 120 plus meters to take this guy out. There's no weapon requirement, no scope requirement, anything like that. But just based on where he is right now, I'm actually not sure how easily we can get to that range. He's in the wide open. I don't know that we can see him from anywhere far enough. So what I've done is I went ahead and called to get them moving this way, placed scent down so that they hopefully stop, and then started moving away from it. And the weirdest thing is, I don't know where that buck came from, but he's over 120 just barely. He did stop there, so let's not rush this too much. As long as he stays there, and I think that's where we put the scent, we're looking at about 130, so should be fine to just sit here and take that shot. Actually, there's another one further up. I mean, I would like to get the bigger one, but I'd also like to get these missions done, so let's just go ahead. Take that guy down with the 7mm, and that should leave us with just one of the easy antler missions to go, and that is the fleeing roe deer with buckshot mission. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's make sure that completed the objective. Was 141 meters in the right lung, and it felt like he was more than 10 meters behind the first one we spotted. So again, for whatever reason the scores are not liking to calculate today. Typically the objectives still get completed, but I like to sit there and make sure. So that's crossed that off the list, and we're going to go ahead and head to Val de Bois, which actually we may be able to do a couple of objectives there, but the main one is to get a fleeing roe deer with buckshot at 100% harvest value. And essentially, that plan that I mentioned earlier for this objective is just to use the 10 gauge buckshot. When this gun came out, we tested it quite a bit, and even out to like 75 meters on Whitetail, it was absolutely lethal. So I think a roe deer fleeing, even as it's facing away from us, probably if we get the shot off quickly before it's maybe even 20 meters away, it should drop and should get us that 100% harvest value. That's a pretty nice roe deer, 185 to 235. I just went ahead and hit a call. Didn't realize it was that big, but he should start to work his way in. And a possible advantage of this one is that because he's actually so big, he's likely to walk most of the way in. A smaller roe deer buck would trot all the way in, and that might cause him to sort of veer back and forth and maybe not be as trackable as we'd want. So ideally, this guy kind of walks right to us, and we'll let him get as close as he can, spook, and we're going to try to get a lethal shot as he turns to flee. When you see the bases of the roe deer antlers basically touching, that's a good sign that it's a good size one. But we're going to go ahead and get the gun up. We'll actually crouch up when he gets just a touch closer here to actually cause him to spook. Make sure he's in the fleeing state. And that is going to absolutely smoke him. Accidentally got up around the neck, so probably neck, brain, who knows what, to drop him in his tracks there. But outside of the elk that took forever, this was not that bad. Hit him in the neck, brain, hip bones in there. 231, by the way. A really nice roe deer buck. Spine one was in there. I mean, all kinds of stuff that would have insta-dropped him. I don't think he's quite big enough to tax. I want to say we have a 253 or something like that, but definitely worthy of a trophy shot, especially as that is going to complete the easy antler missions. And the nice thing is, because we got the roe deer out of the way so fast here in Val de Bois, we can spend a little time with the other objectives that are kind of for the other missions, but still to be done on this map. So not half bad. Unfortunately, we're still kind of in the shadow of the mountain here, so the lighting's not that great, but probably the best roe deer we've killed in a couple of years. And that leaves us with the two objectives here for Val de Bois. One is to harvest a brown bear, I think a male brown bear specifically, inside of 20 meters with a single shot. I actually just grabbed 10 gauge slugs. If we're going to be that close, that'll work just fine. And then also, there's an objective to take an alpine ibex unspooked with an unscoped 243. I think if we fast travel to the right location, that could be really easy, but we've got a brown bear over there. If that's a male, we'll worry about trying to do that first. That's a female, so let's just kind of wander around a little bit, see if we can find a male brown bear, and if not, we'll jump up into the mountains. So, a long journey running along the rivers of Vaudebois has led us to exactly 0 male bear sightings and 0 male bear footprints. So we're going to go ahead, equip our unscoped 243 and get it loaded, and we're going to fast travel to a spot that I find, especially later in hunts, tends to have Ibex kind of congregate at it, and it's basically just north of us, up there at that mountain range. The very kind of edge of it is a pretty good spot, so let's jump up to there, and we're pretty much just going to go prone immediately, just on the off chance. I do hear footsteps. Seems like it's down this direction, and keep in mind, we're not wearing the proper camo. Man, they were all around us apparently. They do need to be unspooked, so we'll have to wait it out so they calm down. Now, in the meantime, I was able to switch into the correct camo, and we've got one walking down here. I gotta think if he's feeding, he's not spooked. So, we've got our unscoped 243. I'd like this to be a good broadside lung shot, kind of quartering maybe even better. Gonna drop him in his tracks, and that's got yet another objective crossed off the list. Now, I did realize that there is another one here on Vaudebois we could do. That's to take a 2,000 plus scoring European rabbit with the 12 gauge shotgun, which shouldn't take too long. If we can find a set of burrows, we'll probably grab our dog and have him help us find them. But as for this guy, that worked out about as well as we could hope for. Double lunged him at 34 meters. Again, that quartering away shot for a weaker caliber is really nice, and that's got that objective done as well. So why don't we move to a location where we might expect to find European rabbits, grab our dog, and see if we can knock one last objective out before we're done today. There is a European rabbit literally right here at the tent that might just make it. The score estimate is really good, but the weight only gives it an opportunity to maybe be a max of 2,200. If this works, I'm going to be amazed. We didn't even need a dog. I heard it right when we fast traveled. 2.1 kilo, that's going to do it. That is insane. 2,090. I mean, literally, we had to walk like 15 meters. Shoot that. I see another one running off. They must have burrows pretty far from here. Right over there. I mean, we still maybe wouldn't have needed the dog, but not a bad deal getting through all those this quickly. But I can only imagine the medium and hard missions that are coming up are going to be a considerable step up in the amount of time it takes. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.